Steve with Dabble, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to get a user's address in a custom Alexa skill. And we're going to do this with a template that you can get from dabblelab.com. So if you're not watching this video on dabblelab.com, start by heading over to dabblelab.com and then go to the templates menu. And we're going to be using template number 6 here. So this one, Alexa Address Information Skill Template. So the first thing you want to do is download that. And to download the skill templates, you do need to be logged in, but accounts are free. So if you don't have an account, you can create one by just clicking the Need an Account link there. If you do have an account, you can go ahead and log in here. And once you're logged in, you'll have access to the template details page, and that will include a tutorial video. That's what you're watching right now, and also a button to download the source code along with a comment section that we've recently added here. So if you have any questions or comments as you're working through this, you can leave those here and we'll respond just as quickly as we can. So for starters, you want to download the source code, and it'll download as a zip package. And the source code, when you open it up, you want to expand the zip, can be used with the Alexa Skills Kit command line interface, or we've updated them now so you can also use them with Alexa hosted skills, so through the Alexa developer console. And so if you're not familiar with the CLI, that's probably the easier way to do it, and that's what I'm going to show you today because that is the simpler way. So at this point, if you have access to all the source code, we can head over to developer.amazon.com and log in there. If you don't have an account, create an account there also. They're free. There's no credit card or anything required. And once you're logged in, go to the Alexa developer console. You can go to Alexa, and then in the upper right, there's like a little ellipse menu. And if you come down, you'll see the Alexa developer console is one of the options. And then here is where we're going to find, if you've got some skills already created, you'd see those here. But what we want to do is create a new skill. So click the Create Skill button. And we're going to be creating an Alexa custom hosted skill. And we'll call that Demo Skill. And custom skill is selected by default, but when you come down here to the hosting method, we're going to choose this, Alexa hosted for Node.js. And right now, all of the templates are Node.js. At some point in the future, we'll hopefully have Python versions, but today they're all Node.js. After you've selected that, come back up and choose the Create Skill button again. And this takes about a minute for the hosted skill to be set up. It provisions all of the backend AWS resources that are going to be required in all of that. So we'll let that happen and go back over to our source code that we downloaded and talk about this for a bit. We're going to need two things to go through and set this up. We're going to need the interaction model, which we can find up here. That's this file, the en-us.json. And then we're going to also need this one here, which is the Lambda code, this index.js. And for most of the skill templates, those are the only two files that you need. In some cases, there's some additional ones, and they're covered in the tutorials. But looks like our hosted skill is set up, so we'll start by using the interaction model. And we could do this by either just opening it in a text editor. My preference is Visual Studio Code, but you could use TextEdit or Notepad or whatever you're most comfortable with. So you could just copy it and then paste the interaction model in. And in the Alexa developer console, you would go to the JSON editor here and then select all of the existing interaction model code and then paste in the code from the template. The other option that you have is you could just drag and drop the code in. So you could do like this. And same thing, it's going to give you the interaction model from the template. And once the interaction model is in there, one thing I want to note is the invocation name. This is the name that's going to be used to open or start the skill, to invoke the skill. And by default, the templates are named with the template number. So in this case, template 6. You'd want to change that, of course, if you were using this to build a skill that is going to be used in production. But from there, just save the interaction model and then build it. And this is going to take a minute also. So while that's building, we'll go back to the template code and we'll copy and paste the Lambda code here. So we want to go to index again, and then same thing, open that in a text editor and copy it all. And then head back over to the developer console. And this time we're going to go over to the code tab here. And it's all of the code in this index.js file, which is the default file that's selected when you open this up. So we want to select all of that and then paste in the code from the interaction model, or not from the interaction model, but from the index.js. And then once we've done that, we can save it and then deploy it so that it is live for testing, not live in production, but live for testing. And in this template, we're going to be using the device location permission, or we're going to need to get permission from the user to read their address information. So one other thing that we're going to need to do before we can test this is enable the skill so that it's set up to ask for that permission. We can do that over here, go back to build, and then go down here to permissions. And then we want this device address permission. So we're going to toggle that on and we're going to ask for the full address. And then once that is enabled, we should be ready to test. There is one caveat to testing this functionality, and I'll get into that in 1 second. So we'll toggle this on so that we've enabled testing for development, and then we'll just test it out by typing the invocation name. So template 6, like that.
Hello, you can say, "What is my location?" to hear the address associated with this device.
And right now, if I say, "What is my location?"
Please enable device location permissions in the Amazon Alexa app.
Okay, so in this case here, when the user enables the skill, they're going to also need to allow permission to access the address information, and that's what the template is prompting for here. So you would do that from your Alexa companion app, so the iOS app or Android app, but you can also do that. There's a Alexa web companion app, I guess it would be called that. And that's what we're going to do here. So you can see that now the demo skill here is asking for permission. So we want to update the permissions for that skill. And we can do that by going to the settings here and then manage permissions. And I need to log in. And then we want to just toggle this on. So allow permission to access the address, the device address, and save those permissions. And one of the important things to note here is that this is not geolocation. So this is just the physical address that's associated with the device that is provided by the user when they set the device up. So like in settings, for example, it would be whatever the user is entering as their address. So this could be anything. I think it validates that it's an actual address, but beyond that, there's no guarantee that the device is actually where this address is. And so that's just kind of something to note. If the precise location is something that's important to your skill, then you want to look at using the geolocation. And we've got another tutorial for that. But with that said, let's go back and talk about one other thing here in the testing. So now it's enabled, so we can test it.
Hello, you can say, "What is my location?" to hear the address associated with this device.
So I'll say, "What is my location?" again.
It looks like you don't have an address set. You can set your address from the companion app.
Okay, so now it's saying that my address isn't set, and that's because in this in the test console here, there's no way to set the address, and that's why I'm getting that message back. So the one caveat when you're building and testing skills that use the address information is that you'll need an actual device to test this. So I'm gonna test this with a an actual device, and we'll do that right now. So open template 6.
Hello, you can say, what is my location, to hear the address associated with this device.
What is my location?
Your complete address is 1311 Northwest Shore Boulevard, Suite 101, Florida, 336074611.
And that's it. That is using the address location skill template. And if you've got any questions or comments, you can leave those again just under here. And hopefully this was helpful. And thanks so much for watching.